Access Sacramento presents Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Major underwriting support this season for Hometown Sports Game of the Week on Access Sacramento is provided by the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. Access Sacramento also thanks Sharif Jewelers, fine jewelers since 1932. Sharif Jewelers, a longtime sponsor of community television. And Folsom Lake Honda, a proud sponsor of Access Sacramento's Hometown TV and Game of the Week, and a partner in our community, Folsom Lake Honda.
The heat wave that had engulfed the Sacramento Valley earlier this week has dissipated, replaced by cooler temperatures and gusting winds that certainly will have an impact on tonight's contest. Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Welcome aboard from Cosumnes Oaks High School. It's the Jesuit Marauders visiting the Franklin Wildcats. With the Imperator of Analysis, Hall of Famer Jim Domino, I'm Will James. Welcome. It's a Delta League clash, the first for Jesuit and the second Delta outing for Franklin. Both teams, Coach, hungry for victory.
Certainly they are in this wide open Delta race. We've seen several of these teams play, and as we've spoken very often about this is a league contest tonight, important clash for both teams. Their first one out of the box, and some very important other Delta League games going tonight. So this league is up for grabs.
Marlon Blanton's Marauders against Evan Boylan's Wildcats, and they do have some history. Let's take a look at the last meeting between these two squads, a one-sided affair.
Well, it certainly was. Big Red jumped off to a 35-0 lead at halftime and just cruised from there. The Marauders rushed for over 480 yards. And Rutherford, their halfback, who is a major college recruit, carried for 3 TDs. So it was an easy victory for the Marauders.
Well, the last outings for these two squads, both of those games had lopsided scores, but they were on opposite side of the ledger, Coach.
Well, yes, last week Jesuit played Rio Americana, their local, very school neighbor rivalry, and it was relatively easy. Susak took over the helm for the first time this year, fired 3 passes, and Jesuit added 3 rushing touchdowns. Young hit on his PATs, and get a look at him tonight. He's a great kicker, and so they cruise over Rio 45-15. Meanwhile, Pleasant Grove cruised over Franklin. Valencia had another big night. We were very impressed with him, and the Eagles controlled the game, went to a clock game, running clock, and certainly an easy victory for Pleasant Grove. Let's see if Franklin can rebound tonight.
Well, the emergence of Susak has changed the entire offensive complexion for the Marauders. Let's take a look at the Marauders' mainstays, the impact players tonight that'll have to play up on the road for Coach Blanton's ball club.
Let's start at quarterback, as mentioned. Daniel Susak, outstanding quarterback, was injured, had a shoulder injury, did not play until last week. And boy, he came in, threw 3 touchdown passes, having watched him in practice, very smooth. High round draft pick in baseball. Ace Saka, their junior running back and defensive back. Logan Carter and Kia Santos stand out on defense. Logan Carter anchors that front line.
Well, Evan Boylan had to go back to the drawing board prior to tonight's matchup. His starting quarterback, unfortunately, knocked out for the remainder of the season. And so we've got a little bit of an unknown combination, but here's the wily Wildcats that'll have to set the pace.
Well, let's start with number 10, Reagan Fonbuena. Off to a great year along with Ian Charles, number 22. The two running backs have over 1,000 yards between them. Watch them go tonight. Tyler Kyneth, the big lineman, the 300-pound lineman, I'll tell you, he can move the earth. And, of course, Kikoa Cash anchoring that defense and also playing some wide receiver. So this Franklin Ball Club will come in here with a lot of big linemen. You'll see them tonight.
Well, the outcome of tonight's game of major importance. It's Jesuit's first Delta League game. They want to get off on the right foot and compete with Pleasant Grove apparently setting the pace along with Cosumnes Oaks. And for Franklin, coming in at 2-3, they've already had one Delta game and dropped it, as you saw with the previous graphic. They need to get on the board to keep pace with the rest of the Delta. So it'll be tough for both squads out here under these gusting conditions. Don't wander off, because when we come back, we're going to join our esteemed colleague, Lauren Goodman, who has more on tonight's big matchup. Stay with us.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Welcome back to the show. We're here at Cosumnes Oaks High School for Access Sacramento's hometown sports game of the week. Franklin hosting Jesuit. Let's turn our attention down to field level and Lauren Goodman. Goody?
Well, thanks, Will. It's getting kind of brisk out here. And this week I got an opportunity to talk to two coaches. One who's kind of becoming the veteran of the league with so many changes coming on, and then one new face. For the visitors, I have Marlon Blanton. He's the leader for the Jesuit Marauders. He's coming into his 8th year as the leading helm. He has a 55-33 overall record. And his best record came in 2017, where he was 10-3. He also won the Delta League, and he has a split 7-7 playoff record. Coming in to trying to figure out where he's going to land the Marauders in the Delta with their first Delta League matchup tonight. For the home team, we have Evan Boylan. He's coming into his 2nd year, and talking to Coach Boylan, as he's building up the trust in this young core, he feels very comfortable this year, and he's highly motivated to guide the Wildcats back to the playoffs. Since the Delta League opened up, these two teams have been opponents since 2004, and it's been a series of streaks. Tonight is the 12th meeting between these two teams, and as they come in tonight, it has been 2-3-6. Jesuit won the first 2 and the last 6. In between there, the Wolfpack was able to get 3 wins in a row where they went 2010 to 2012. Now, the highest scoring game between these two came back in 2010. It was 56-28. Franklin took that game. The lowest scoring game between the two was 17-7 in 2012, and Jesuit was the victor. And then the closest game between the two was in their first game in 15-12. Jesuit won. And, fun fact, the starting quarterback for the Marauders was Evan Boylan. Look at how the things turned. Will.
Thank you, Goody. Yes, Evan Boylan, now head coach here at Franklin, opposing his former high school ball club, the Jesuit Marauders. It's homecoming night here this evening for the Franklin Wildcats. Festive atmosphere, certainly, and all the usual pageantry associated with a homecoming celebration. Glad you're with us tonight for Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. When we come back, we'll check out starting lineups and brace ourselves for tonight's opening kickoff.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
It's game time. We welcome you aboard to Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Just about ready for tonight's opening kickoff. Franklin High tonight hosting the Jesuit Marauders. With Jim Domino, I'm Will James. We've got ourselves an interesting Delta League matchup tonight, Coach, with lots of questions that still need to be answered.
Yes, we do. Jesuit comes in here with a very young squad, returning 2 on defense and about 4 who have played a little bit of offense, but they were wiped out with a great senior class. So this is hopefully not a rebuilding year for Coach Blanton, but this is a great matchup here tonight. Jesuit in their first league encounter, Franklin in their second, and quite frankly, Franklin's had a rough go last week in their ball game with turning out with a number of injuries. It's hopefully they will respond, and you're going to see 2 great running backs on this Franklin team that can light them up.
Well, it'll be Franklin booting to start the ball game, working from our right to our left in their home deep purple jerseys and white trim. Deep to receive, a pair of speedy returners for the Marauders. Hall and Sanchez stationed at the Jesuit 10-yard line. A good crowd on hand tonight, particularly here on the home side for Franklin with its homecoming night. Kickoff short and toward the near side, enough to take it at the 15-yard line, and trying to work to the lateral part of the field, and a decent run back to start things off for the Marauders on the run back by Sanchez, and that's where they'll open shop just outside their 30. I imagine this wind factor will continue to escalate as the evening bears on, but I wouldn't mind if it slacked off a little bit. 1st and 10 upcoming for Jesuit, working from their 32. Their Houston split back veer and a nice burst up the middle, crossing the 35 to the 36. And let's take a look now at the offensive unit out there for Marlon Blanton's 1-3 Jesuit Marauders. And they have just had their number one quarterback reinstated, Daniel Susak, at the controls. A week ago, he fired 3 touchdowns in their big win over Rio Americano. 2nd and 6 after the gain of 4. Quick hit out to the left side and first down yardage on the scamper after the grab. And that was Jagger Saka. First down, moved the chains. And let's set the rest of the lineup as you see there. And that front 5 is really going to have to do the job tonight, anchored by Kime. So it's a 1st and 10 for the Marauders. Football parked at the Jesuit 45. Nothing doing on that run play. Excellent defense by Franklin, and we'll set that Wildcat defense that really has their hands full tonight, trying to slow down Susak and the Marauders. There you see their defensive alignment there. Ian Charles, one of their key stoppers, and Cohen Buena, their top tackler. Then Cash in that linebacking core is going to have an important piece of tonight's ball game. So they lose one. Call it 2nd and 11 from the 44. Susak to throw. Wide open, and this is going to be a touchdown. Jagger Saka as they sting the Wildcats with a pass to an uncovered receiver. He was open from here to Merced.
He certainly was. They ran a double, they ran a fade and a post, and there was no safety to be found, Will. Wide open, no one there. Susak just faded back, had great protection, and let it fly right into the wind. He acted like there was no wind against him, Will.
He was flabbergasted that there was no defense around him. Obvious breakdown on that coverage. On for the PAT, the ever reliable Ryan Young. This year he's connected on 9 out of 12 PATs. Very reliable. Spot, boot, plenty, and got it. At 10-13 of the first, the quick striking Marauders go on top 7-0 with the big play. A 66-yard aerial connection from Susak to Jagger Saka. Boy, shock treatment early on. We'll be right back. Stick around.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Jesuit lining up for the kickoff following their quick strike touchdown on the pass from Susak to Saka. Ryan Young to do the booting. A trio of deep receivers, but it's a short pooch bounding outside the 20 and picked up on one bounce, and not much going on for Josh Trasinski. Good downfield coverage, but slightly above average field position coming up for the Wildcats. And young quarterback Denzen Cortez. And they'll open shop at the 27. First play from scrimmage for the Wildcats, down 7 early. Run the football as expected, and that's going to be their bread and butter tonight, I imagine, with Buena and Charles. That time on the carry, Buena. A tough 1.5 yards or so, 2nd and long.
Well, Jesuit's going to put 8 in the box, I would imagine, because they're going to defy young Cortez to throw the football. So you're going to see see a combination of 8s there that, as you're looking at it right now, looks like a 4-4.
Motion in that Wildcat backfield, and they run it and pound out another 2 to 3 yards. They cross the 30 to about the 32, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and long. The offense for the Wildcats really under the gun with the absence of starting quarterback Brandon Bautista Rundgren. There's the alignment there you see. In the backfield, Cortez getting the call. And they're going to work that run game with Charles Nfonbuena, and that offensive line is really going to have to do the job tonight against that defensive front of the Marauders. They run it inside. Quick opener, but they're shy of a first by a yard or so, but they do cross the 35. They park it at the 36, so they're a wee bit short.
Well, they're about 2 yards short, and they get a good measure on that, Will.
Well, the Marauder defense so far standing tall. We'll see what they come up with. Logan Carter and Kime in the middle at defensive tackles, prominent, and the linebacking core ready among their top tacklers. And then the 3 deep secondary.
Well, see if he tries to draw him offside. Not enough.
They're stuffed at the line. Don't know about progress. They may measure, but he looks like he's short. No daylight that time.
He reached over, and they gave, he extended his hand, and they gave him a good mark, Will. It's very close.
Okay, 4th and less than a yard. Cortez went halfway to the sideline for a look at head coach Evan Boylan. And we'll see what they're up to here. I don't know what the delay is unless they're...
Oh, they're going to bring in a change.
I guess that's an option.
They have to bring in a change. It's too close.
Well, in case you've just joined us, the Marauders struck quickly on their first possession, and they went upstairs to do it. Daniel Susak, as you see here, handing off on that play. But the touchdown was a 66-yard connection to an uncovered Jagger Saka. Well, they pulled the chain marker. Oh my goodness. Is this applause from the home side indicative of a favorable measurement? 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Tip of the cap to Evan Boylan requesting the measurement. So fresh set of downs. Football parked at the 37. Run, and stacked up. It's going to be real tough to pierce that defense with 8 in the box.
Well, that's exactly Cortez. And if coach is going to call a pass play, he can't just let this young rookie Cortez go down to 1 down only. He's got to put him in a situation, for instance, this is 2nd and long. This is an ideal, even though he's a young, inexperienced quarterback, he's got to give him a chance to throw on 2nd down.
He keeps, rolls, fires on the run to the sideline, and looks like a hook up for 1st down yardage, and that has to be a confidence booster for the young QB Cortez.
I like seeing that, Will, on 2nd down, as mentioned. I like that because that gives him the confidence. He really flushed the pocket very nicely on that rollout. He was under control. He had the ability to run if he needed to.
The 2nd first down of the ball game for the Wildcats, on the move, but down 7 here. Still on the front side of quarter number 1. Nice to have you with us this evening for Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. They run it straight and get nowhere. That is going to be a tough challenge all night long, and it may take more passing from Cortez to loosen up that defensive line.
Well, I agree, because they're lined up with variations of 8 in the box, figuring they're going to run. Now, the last time he was able to flush the pocket and get around that defensive end and take all day to make that throw to the sideline. So let's see if he helps him out again. Coach Boylan made a good call the last time. Here he is with 2nd and 10.
Just a yard inside Jesuit territory. Here's a toss, and they try to sweep left, and they do get outside. And banged down hard after a substantial gain. Nice run right there by Ian Charles.
Very nice. He turned the corner. Once he got around the corner, he showed some speed here. The Jesuit did not show that much speed at the corner and the defensive end position because he broke the perimeter.
Gain of 9, 3rd and 1.
I like that sweep call.
Let's see what they try for here. Clock rolling at the 6:40 mark. First, motion in the backfield. They get the first down, but not a whole lot more as the defense recovered quickly to drive him back. But Reddy, one of the top tacklers in the area, all over that play, but it is the first down for the Wildcats, their 3rd on this drive.
Well, outstanding blocking. They pulled that left guard, and it looked like Eric Mayall pulling up the hole, leading the way. All they needed was a yard or 2, and they picked up about 3. So this is a nice drive going for the young Wildcats.
It is indeed. Fresh set of downs. He's going to throw. Looks left all the way, airs it out, and overthrows double coverage. The intended receiver was bracketed that time, front and back. But it was a nice stretch as they sent Malik Johnson deep and at least tested him and kept him honest on that.
Well, it did. It kept exactly what you said, Will. It got the corners backed off. They ended up dropping 6 into coverage, and now they're saying, this kid can throw the football, and he's got the wind behind him here. He's got that south wind to go deep, but the middle is wide open, and watch him. He looks like he's capable of running around the perimeter as he showed once before.
2nd down. They run right off tackle, and the pile pushes forward a little bit, and they get a couple on the play, but it's going to bring up 3rd and long. Charles with the carry. It'll be his number and Fonbuena's number called a lot this evening. 3rd and 9. Back to the huddle from the sideline is Denzen Cortez, who so far has engineered this drive nice, but here's a clutch 3rd and 9. Let's look at that Jesuit pressure now. They toss. A nice cut inside. Dropped at the 31. I should say, well, near the 30. They're going to be short by a few. 4th. And they're going to need 3.
Well, Ian Charles, that play is designed to sweep left, but he cut in the running lane and thought he had enough of a hole there to make it. Here we are with 4th and 2. They've got to go for it, certainly, and keep the football away from Jesuit.
Gain of 6 on the play. Closer to 3 is what they need from the near hash mark. Play fake. And nowhere to go is Jaden Baylor. That play was busted early. The blocking was disrupted, and Jesuit diagnosed that pretty well. The ball goes over.
Well, I'm a little surprised at that play. That's a long 3. To get 3 or more yards on that type of play, Will, is questionable. And Jesuit was waiting there.
Okay, the Marauders with possession. They're going to open up in good field position. Susak hands off, good running room. Nearly a scamper of 10 on the play. And I'll tell you, Ace Saka almost got the full 10. They are going to give him the full 10.
Well, between and Kai Santos I'll tell you, those are two pretty good running backs. Santos is only a sophomore, and he is a good-looking runner.
The gain to the Jesuit 43, 4:10 to go, flip side of quarter number 1. Fake it, give it, and about a 5-yard run just shy of midfield.
Once again, you see 34 Ace Saka picking up another 6 yards. Jesuit line doing a job. McLaughlin, Stone, Seymour, Hemmert, and Kayam are really getting off the football up front.
Gain of 5, make it 2nd and 5 from the Jesuit 48. Susak engineering a deliberate drive here. He's shown more run games so far, but did click for the long TD pass. A bobble, and he picks it up and fires all alone, left sideline. It's a big gain, a reception. Can he take it all the way? Touchdown, Marauders. Again, busted coverage, and Nate Lewis all alone, despite an underthrown pass, was able to take it all the way. 48 yards. And the lead stretches now 13-0. It comes at the 3:18 mark, on for the PAT. Reliable Ryan Young. This Franklin crowd a little shell-shocked here with the 2 long scoring passes. PAT, plenty of distance, and no good, wide. So they botched the PAT and settle for the 13-0. And we'll take another look at the Susak to Lewis connection.
Here it is. Despite a fumble, as you mentioned, Willie got a wide open man.
We'll be right back.
What?
Well, the quick striking Jesuit Marauders have posted 2 touchdowns here in the first, both of them on long scoring plays, passes from Daniel Susak to a pair of wide open receivers, Jagger Saka and Nate Lewis. 13-0. Ryan Young set to kick off. It's a chip shot toward the near side, bobbled and gathered. Good downfield coverage. And the run back stopped at the 28-yard line. Well, keys to the game, certainly a slug of them, Coach Domino.
Well, it starts with MPT, the mistakes, penalties, and turnovers. And we saw a couple of breakdowns here, mistakes that cost them. They got beat deep. The receivers flew right by them, and they paid big with 2 touchdowns. And we'll get right back to you.
1st and 10 upcoming, and Franklin needs to put something together here, but that play won't get it started. They try to run right. The defense was stacked, ready, and waiting. Santos with the carry, no gain. So they'll try it again from the 28-yard line.
There we go. Let's get back to the keys. Marauders pass protection, and you see their pass protection. They haven't touched Susak in 2 attempts there downfield, wide open. 3 attempts.
Cortez to throw, short flip off the hands of his intended receiver that time, Cash. 3rd and 10.
3rd and long, a big down here. this certainly, Franklin's got to get something going here. They had a nice little drive going and petered out. And to finish my keys scoring contest, where's the defense? And we're finding that out that they've given up 2 huge plays now, and they're going to have to play better defense than this. Meanwhile, Jesuit's digging in, trying to stop the run in Cortez when he does throw.
3rd and 10. We'll get to the matchups later. They run it right up the middle of big hole, and looks like he's got enough for a first down on that carry. Baylor with a burst, and they move the chains. 1st and 10.
I like that call. That's a great draw play to Baylor, and he did show a lot of speed. Jaden Baylor really exploded.
So a fresh set of downs. That's the 3rd first down. Correction. The 4th first down for Franklin here in the first half, but their long drive stalled out near the 30 last time. That was Baylor in motion. They run it up the middle for a hard-earned 4 or 5 yards. Boy, the pile just kept going. Hard running there, and Fonbuena is noted for that. Gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Baylor getting more work than maybe we counted on in this game. And Fonbuena still a workhorse. Motion in the backfield by Baylor. Wow. That
nothing there on that one.
That was a rude awakening there. And it's going to bring up 3rd, no gain, 3rd and 4 with just slightly over a minute left here in the first quarter. 13-0 Jesuit. Cortez back to the huddle after a brief sideline communication with head coach Evan Boylan. Interesting down and distance call here near midfield.
3rd and 3.
More motion. Nice. Picking his hole. Here's a breakaway. 2 Marauders chase him to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown Wildcats on the burst by Fonbuena. Covering 54 yards. Great line blocking. Boy, did they need that.
Well, they needed that. Was a good shot in the arm. I'll tell you, he showed me the speed. He had front speed and late speed. He split the safeties. They were gone. I mean, he ran by them.
On for the PAT. Josh Trzynski spotted, booted. Got it. 32 seconds left here in the first. And as we go to break, here's how the Wildcats got on the board. A quick opener. He sidestepped one guy, and then it was free sailing as those safeties just couldn't make up the ground. We'll be right back.
What?
Well, if ever the Franklin Wildcats on homecoming night needed a shot in the arm, it was right then, and they sure did get it from Fonbuena. That was a 54-yard burst right through the center of the field and through the Jesuit defense. Most impressive.
Yeah, he showed speed, front speed and late speed. There was a big hole to begin with, but then he shot through it, accelerated. Like I said, Saka isn't the slowest guy. He ran by number 13 pretty, he wasn't there. So I'll give credit. Fonbuena and Charles, I'll tell you, that's a dynamic duo there. So
Trzynski set to kick off. got a 13-7 game. Nice driving kick. Sends the returner back into the end zone for a touchback, and the Marauders will come out 1st and 10 from their 20 with about 32 seconds left here in the first quarter.
Well, that was a huge score for Franklin. They had to respond, and really, they didn't want to give up the football and punt back to Jesuit, giving up 13 early points. And give credit to that front line because they knocked people off the ball. Keinrith, Tuolani, Lloyd, Mayall, McCartney did a good job up front.
Okay, the Marauders send double wide receivers to the near side, and backs are split behind Susak. They plow into the line and get driven back hard. Charles leading that stand, one of the top tacklers on this outfit, and evidently that touchdown gave this defense some encouragement.
Well, it did, and if I were Jesuit, I would just take my time in a huddle, and the quarter's going to run out in about 10 seconds, and now I have the wind at my back with an arm with Susak.
Let's see if they try to get this play off. I don't believe so, and this quarter has concluded. After one here at Franklin High School, even though they're running this play, they make something out of nothing here. The quarter has concluded, and we will be right back for more. Well, let's hold it right here because I want Coach DeManor to talk about tonight's big matchups.
Okay, once again, we've got a huge matchup here with the receivers, Jesuit's big receivers versus that Franklin secondary, and they tested them right off the bat, Will, with those passes down the field. The Wildcats running game against Big Red D, well, that's showing up too. We're watching that Wildcat run game, and it looks pretty good to me versus Big Red. Now, Big Red's playing with, 8 in the box to try to stop that running game of Juan Buena and Charles. So we're in for a big evening here and perhaps a lot of scores.
Well, tonight's game taking shape on homecoming night. Franklin on the board to chop halfway into that Marauder lead. And our officiating crew has had to stay on their toes. They are headed by referee Tim Eastwood, umpire Mike Hewitt, our head linesman this evening, Brian Rose, Abdul Robinson, the line judge, and our back judge tonight, Rob Lopez.
Speaking of officials, while we have a moment, Will, that clock was off, the quarter was over. They allowed them to run it down. Now someone's got to be alert to that.
Well, that's what it looked like to me. I do not know why they allowed that, but they gave Jesuit an 8-yard gain. 2nd and 2 from the 28. Same formation. Handoff and a run play, and they get the first down. Nice little bit of power shown as Ace Saka nearly makes the 35, but certainly plenty for a first down. Move the chains.
Ace Saka, all 6'2" of them. He looks more like a basketball player than a running back. 6'2", 165. I'll tell you, he's tough running through there. An outstanding athlete, Ace Saka.
The ball just shy of the Jesuit 35-yard line as they have switched ends of the field. Now Susak and company working with the wind. A gusting wind this evening out here in Elk Grove. Quick opener, good power, couple of busted tackles and a solid gain of about 7 or 8 depending on the spot. Looks like they'll put it in play from the 42, gain of 8.
Let's look at this again. A good burst by the line. Good get off. Picking up about, looks like 6, 7, 8 on that one. Watch for a play action here. A good play action down, and Susak is watching that secondary to see if they're going to bite with that halfback.
Under center, straight drop back, and he's going to go deep down the right sideline. Overthrows his receiver. He was well covered by a pair of Franklin DBs. And again, trying that time to hook up with Jacob Hall.
Well, of course he had to win, but Dan Susak threw that ball effortlessly. Of course, he's got the wind behind him, and we know he's got a big-time arm. That was a good call with 2nd and short, Will. Excellent. 3rd and 3. Can they stop that Big Red offense?
Packed in tight. No, they cannot make a yard or so. Maybe 1, but they needed 3. They needed to make the 45. Boy, that was a solid defensive line push right there.
And I was impressed with Fonbuena. We've seen him on offense, but I'll tell you what, he's playing that linebacker spot, and he came in and made a big hit.
Well, he's having a big year on defense, too. 34 tackles coming in. And, of course, that's quite a load for a guy that carries the football as many times as he does, playing both ways.
They're going for it.
Yes, they are. 4th and about 2. Play fake, and he's get chased out of there now and flips it. What a catch and what a play. Susak under heavy pressure and while falling did a somewhat underhanded flip to a receiver, and they make the play.
Ace Saka, that's why you have an athlete at quarterback. A la Mahomes, he's kind of bit of Pat Mahomes.
Let's take another look.
Excellent, excellent. This is why you have an athletic quarterback. Watch this. He rolls. No one open. Flip it out. Flip it out to Saka. There you go.
Charles with the tackle, but it's a first down from the 44-yard line. Jesuit on the move, cashing in the 4th down opportunity. Quick hitch right side. It's complete. And a burst afterward. It's going to be about a 9-yard gain, and a flag flies late. Don't know the nature of the penalty. As you see, our game referee, Tim Eastwood, and 2 other officials over there. Evan Boylan looking on with his staff.
Foul. Low to the head against the defense.
Almost at a whisper. A personal foul, blow to the head. Automatic first down.
Apparently a dead ball foul there on that far side, Will. Yes, that hurt Franklin.
So we talked about mistakes, penalties, turnovers. That penalty really sets up the Marauders in the red zone. Quick hitch right side, and the same dividend paying off. The short throw and then motoring ahead before the defense recovers.
Well, the old saying is, you tell your quarterback, take what they give you, Will. And if they're not going to cover that short sideline, near sideline, it's a flip. It's an 8-yard, 10-yard pass. And if the corner on the short side is going to play off 8 yards, you can bite off 5, 6, 7 every time you want it.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Inside the 15-yard line. A run play right up the middle, gets inside the 5 and nearly takes it home.
Well,
boy, that was fast.
He hit the hole quick on the dive, and I'll tell you, a good push by the right side. Look, there's a simple dive play right up there.
Well, that was a concerted effort right there. Margia Sorin with the carry. Double wide to the right, backs are split. Pitch, run wide, touchdown Marauders, rather effortlessly on the carry by Ace Saka.
They ran a simple dive option, and everybody tackles Sorin and leaves the pitch back wide open. No one covered the pitch. I don't think Susak can believe it himself. They all converged on the dive back.
Well, if he's in disbelief, I imagine Evan Boylan is even more so.
Very definitely.
3 touchdowns Jesuit has had, there's been no defense around any of it.
Well, you know, that was a simple dive option.
2 passing scores from Susak and a rushing touchdown now from Ace. Pete on the way, got it. At 8:44, here's how the Marauders get back on the board to stretch their lead again. Easy money. We'll be right back.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
So we've got a hungry Marauder offense pretty much doing what it wants so far. They've posted 3 touchdowns here in the opening 14 minutes or so. They'll do the kicking, Nelson to do the booting, and it'll put Cortez and that Wildcat offense back on the field. Here's the kick into the end zone. Good muscle there. Touchback. 1st and 10 out to the Franklin 20.
Well, with this strong south wind blowing, Will, I would see the kickers, it's a dream night for them. Anytime you're kicking south to north in this field, with that strong wind, the chances are strong with touchbacks and no runbacks. Well, let's see what Franklin can do here and see if they can pick up 1 or 2 and show what they're made of here and respond to that recent Jesuit touchdown.
They toss and try to sweep right, and the play is busted after a short gain. They get a few on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd and long. You know, we often talk about the level of competition.
Well, here we have it. The level of competition. You see Jesuits' opponents are 9-9. Franklin's opponents are 13-9. So that's pretty good. Jesuits within that 9-9 has played 2 heavyweights, certainly, and Franklin has had a pretty tough schedule as well. So it's a good matchup.
Cortez keeps it on the ground. Buena finds more running room and gallops for a 1st down before being dropped just shy of the 35. First and 10, Wildcats. Gain out to the 34-yard line. Good start for the Franklin offense, with Cortez working the throttle. They run it again. Boy, look at that effort from Buena. Very difficult to bring down.
Very impressive. Yards after contact are outstanding. He's a good all-around back. He showed us that burst of speed you got to have, and now he's picking his holes in there, and he's got decent moves and good balance.
Gain of about 5. We'll call it 2nd and a long 5. Football parked at the 39 from the near hash mark. The give to Charles, and the Marauders saw that coming all the way. That play was strung out laterally and stopped for no gain.
Nowhere for Charles to go there. Big 3rd down. Once again, it's Cortez going to throw. Jesuits lined up in a 4-man front. Let's see what they do with their 8-man box. Now with a 53.
Up the middle, that's been the soft spot. They're going to be shy of a 1st. It's going to leave them about 2 yards shy. We'll call it 4th and 2. Let's see where they park the football.
Well, he gave him a good spot there.
They sure did, to the 44.
4th and 1. Boy, that was very not even one. That was very generous. Wow.
Well, if our spotters saw clearly, it would appear that Karan Reddy of Jesuit may have, as you see there, look at that left mitt on Reddy, number 12.
Yep.
Evidently broken bone. Here we go, 1st and 10. Turn and give, not this time. Charles got greeted by 3 Marauders. And
nowhere to go.
Glad it wasn't me.
Well, 2nd and long again. Ever since that one bad pass, looks like Coach Boylan is just going to stay on the ground, Now, this is a great opportunity. It's 2nd and 10.
Looks like a 4-man rush. And he rolls away.
The run
Throws
is open.
on the run to the sideline, broken up. Nice timing and good coverage out there by Anthony Chidimi Alfaro.
If Cortez decides to run, he's got a minimum 10-yard gain. Minimum 10-yard gain. He was around the corner and almost over the line of scrimmage. He broke the perimeter on the far side.
Well, a young quarterback learning on-the-job training here. Thrust into the fray this evening due to the unfortunate injury to Franklin's starting quarterback, Brandon Bautista Rundgren. So the junior gaining experience with every play, but here comes a big 3rd and 10. And a line jump by the Marauders.
Encroachment against the defense. Still 3rd down.
And you hear the demonstrative call by referee Tim Eastwood. A gift of 5. Call it 3rd and 5. Or should I say, 3rd and 5. From the 49-yard line. A bounce outside. Fonbuena, great judgment. Motors for a 1st down, getting inside the 45.
Well, I tell you, that's as good as it gets. There was very little there, but he bounced it outside, picked up plus yardage, moving the chains. Very impressive run. Outstanding. I'm very impressed, and I can see a huge difference. I mean, he was a good runner last year, but to me, he's become a complete football player.
Nice compliment, well deserved. I formation this time shown. Turn and give. Fonbuena that time swallowed up by the Jesuit defensive line. That's been a real battle in the trenches, one that you always look for, Coach Domino. The offensive line for Franklin really on the spot tonight because of the emphasis on their run game.
Well, they certainly are, and thus far, McCartney, Mayall, Lloyd, Kenneth, and Tulani are doing a pretty good job, I think, against a decent Jesuit front. And particularly early in this ball game, they've almost, Jesuit started out with that 4-4 and 8 in the box, and now they're having to mix it up because Cortez is gaining a little more respect, and they know he can break the perimeter and get outside.
Well, if you were calling this signal, I think you'd prefer to throw on this down, Coach.
Yeah, I would roll left, definitely on the play action. He might be changing it now.
A flag flies from the back judge. Delay of game. So the Wildcats give back the 5 that they picked up on the encroachment. Now make it a very difficult 2nd and 15. Does that change the play call?
Well, definitely. If they don't run draw, they've got to run that play action and roll left to the far side, to the Jesuit side of the field. And if the receivers are covered, Cortez has got to be willing to take it on his own.
It's about time they went to number 44, Johnson, who's had some key catches for them, but they run it up the middle, and it's contained after a 3-yard gain. Tough running again.
Well, it is. They got a portion of that penalty yardage back, Will, but not all of it. It still puts them at a 3rd and long.
3rd and a dozen as the clock rolls with just 3:20 remaining here in a rapidly played first half. It's homecoming night here at Franklin High, so the halftime dedicated to the usual color and pageantry of such an event. But still, better than 3 minutes left here in a key 3rd and 12 upcoming. Play fake, heavy rush. He steps away, grabbed and sacked.
Well, there's a lot of pressure there applied by Jesuit, coming from the outside and inside, and particularly pressure from Clay. Yes, definitely Clay coming in there from his outside position. Noah Clay can play inside back or outside backer, forcing now Franklin to punt the ball away.
Let's take another look. The pass protection broke down, and Clay, 45 there, brushes, spun away from the block, and was able to grab Cortez. That was a nice move right there.
It was.
The spin move.
Yes, it was, and he didn't give up.
So punt formation shown by the Wildcats. A quick step up. They let it bounce, and it bounces backward before it's downed outside the 40.
They picked up 9 yards on that punt. 9 yards from the line of scrimmage. So I'm sure if they knew that ahead of time, despite the long yardage, they might have gone for it. Jesuit in a great field position to try to put a quick score on, and they got the wind at their back.
Less than 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. Up to the line come the Marauders. 1:57 left here in the second quarter.
Single safety.
Susak wants to throw, steps away from trouble, and dropped after he gains a couple on a scramble. Now, the Marauders, really, their offense has come alive since Susak entered the picture last week, and the mainstays are great complementary players.
Well, certainly both those complementary plays, Aces Saka and Jacob Hall, are outstanding. As you see, look at the carries here. Aces carrying the workload up front with that run game. And Jacob Hall having a terrific year, particularly with 2 TDs, 17 yards on his average catch, Will. It's outstanding. And that's the kind of thing they need, balance. Balance in their run game, balance in their passing game, and certainly Susak with already 5 touchdown passes in 2 games. So,
well, I think he's certainly validated whatever compliments had been extended toward him before he started playing last week. I think any quarterback in the area would be very happy with 5 touchdown passes in a game and a half.
Well, that's absolutely true. Now, let's see what he's got here with this situation here. He's got a 3rd and long.
There's Jacob Hall coming out.
I think
wide.
If he delays anything in the middle and he runs a double fade and they fly to the outside, that middle is going to be wide open.
1:39 left here in the first half. Susak and company would like to tack on another score before the intermission. Low snap, bubbled, picked it up, fires, incomplete. Nice recovery effort by Susak.
That's a second low snap. The last time he threw a touchdown pass off that low snap.
Cooper Schultz, the intended receiver.
Looks like Coach Blanton doesn't want to kick the football tonight.
3rd and 9 from the Marauder 44. Clock stopping with 1:34 left. At the intermission, Lauren Goodman will be interviewing our respective head coaches, but still we got 90-plus seconds left here. Susak with time, fires low and incomplete.
Well, I'm a little surprised on that. Wide open. He'd like to have that throw back.
He would, indeed. It was a low throw, and he had to get it past Charles, the linebacker, in the passing lane.
Well, I thought he rushed himself a little bit there. The receiver was open.
Jademi Alfaro, the intended receiver. So punt formation shown. High snap, but he's up to get it. Nice high floating punt. They let it bounce, and it dies right there. Excellent punt. No return, and average field position for Franklin outside their 20. So with this little time on the board, Coach, is Coach Boylan going to try to drive the field with his junior QB or play for position and safety?
Well, that's a good question. It depends on how much confidence he has in him. He's got to be very careful not to commit a turnover here and go behind by 3. So he's got to be very careful. He might just sit and run the football.
Harrison in motion, double wides to the left. They do run it, and it's going nowhere. Anticipated by the Marauders, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them there to take on Fonbuena.
Right now, Coach is taking it easy. Coach Boylan is talking to him every play. He comes to the sideline. Denson Cortez and probably saying, shoot, there's only 50 seconds in here. We're not going to risk it. And we'll go in 2 down and just run the football. That's what I think.
40 seconds left, clock running, motion in the backfield. They go to Fonbuena, and he takes another pounding. And that may be the final play of the half.
Yeah, Jesuit's not going to call a timeout.
So we do have a stoppage coming with 24 seconds left in a game that appeared at first that Jesuit was going to waltz, piling up 2 quick touchdowns, but the Wildcats answered on the long run by Fonbuena, but Susak and company came back with a score of their own to stretch out now, leading at 20-7. And we really have not seen the quality receivers. Hardy, a question mark in tonight's action. I haven't seen him on the field, and they have not tried for Malik Johnson, who's got some extraordinary numbers in that he's got 4 catches for the season, 3 of them for touchdowns.
Well, those stats are very impressive, and unfortunately, the quarterback who threw to them has been injured and more likely out for the year. And so we're not seeing much. We haven't seen Hardy at all, I believe. I don't know if he's suited or what. But I know this, Jesuit called that timeout for a reason, Will. The reason is, if they don't get a first down on this, Jesuit could get the ball back in great field position, and they have to punt against the wind.
Well, there it is. 3rd and 10 after that 1-yard gain.
Jesuit will call a timeout here unless they make a first down.
A predictable run play. And look at those broken tackles with no chance at all. I'm just impressed so much with the tenacity and the gamesmanship led by Fonbuena. So the clock stoppage is at 14 and change. And a difficult situation, another timeout called. Also at the half, Lauren Goodman is going to have a special interview with a long-standing name in Franklin High football. Their inaugural coach, their founding coach, Mike Johnson. Don't want to miss that one either, but right now, a succession of timeouts has stretched the final 2.5 minutes of this half.
Well, it has, and quite frankly, if this is a poor punt or not and fielded correctly by Jesuit, they would have possibly an opportunity to run 1 or 2 plays relevant to this run back.
Not an enviable situation here for Franklin. In a perilous part of the field, if there's any mistake at all. A low line drive. It hit one of the players, and it's going to trickle nearly to the Jesuit 40. So Franklin gets a break on field position there.
Certainly, the ball not being fielded was not a good thing for Jesuit. That's not what they wanted. And here, with 2.9 seconds on the clock, they have one play. Will they take a knee, or will Susak throw a bomb?
Well, you know me, Jim. I like the bomb. And there's two ways to go that could help them. A completion or a pass interference play where they extend the half no matter what the clock says.
Exactly. And if he throws the bomb and it is picked down there, that's a long way to run one back. So
they have moved the football back to where the contact was. So they'll start from the Franklin 47, triple wide receivers to the near side. He's looking left, hitch pass to Jagger-Saka. Running room up this sideline. Now he cuts it and dropped, and a flag flies here.
Well, what you don't want is a defensive penalty.
But we have Tim Eastwood to clarify things for us. Okay, evidently the flag waved off, and we'll take another look as the handkerchief was picked up. So there's the hitch to Jagger. And have no idea what the flag was, but we're at the half. Don't wander off. We're going to hold it right here for a moment. 20-7. Jesuit on top. It's homecoming night here at Cosumnes Oaks High School, homecoming for Franklin High. So be prepared for their excellent marching band, the standard traditional floats and kings and queens candidates, and all kinds of halftime festivities in a ball game that is important in this Delta League run of at least 4 of the teams capable of winning the Delta League. Let's turn our attention to Lauren Goodman. What you got, Goody?
Well, I'm here with the Franklin coach right now. Coach, tell me some things that you're happy about from the first half.
We got the run game going a little bit, which is a good thing. Popped a couple big ones. And then defensively did pretty well against the run. Just a couple big passes we gave up that really hurt us. But happy with the toughness our kids are playing with. And there's no quitting them. And we get the ball to start the second half, see if we can put another drive together.
Talk to me about the conversation you need to have to your team right now, and what's the immediate adjustment you want to focus on coming into the second?
Well, Jesuit's a really good team, and you know we gave them two touchdowns by not doing our job defensively. So if we can sort of buckle down and play assignment football, which they make you do, they're really good. They're a really good option football team. So we have to do that second half. I'm going to tell them we're right in it. We get the ball to start the second half here, and they keep playing with this kind of effort and intensity. You know, things can turn around for us here.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Will.
Thanks, Goody. We're going to come back to you in a little bit because I know you got somebody else lined up down there. But check the scoreboard at the intermission. 20-7. Jesuit leading Franklin on homecoming night for the Wildcats. We'll be right back.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight. walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Welcome back to Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. We're at halftime. Jesuit on top of Franklin 20-7. Let's join Lauren Goodman. Goody?
Well, I'm here with two guys that are going to actually help me out and give me a little bit more info about Franklin. Starting with the activities director here. It's homecoming week. How has the week been?
It's been great. A lot of spirit on campus. Last Friday we had our homecoming rally, and then today we had our homecoming parade. So we had about 1,000 students in the parade, about 6,000 people watching the parade. It was a great turnout. Kids had a blast. And then tomorrow night's the big dance. So the students are pretty pumped this week.
I see that you guys have a great turnout tonight, and fans, an amazing band, cheerleading. How has this support just made the week more exciting?
Oh, Franklin's the ultimate community school. The community comes out and supports. The parents are great. The kids are great. And you can see it here. This is kind of what it's like at our place. We jokingly, but seriously, kind of call it the second happiest place on earth. So Franklin High School. We're gonna trademark that term, I think.
Well, since we're talking about all the great things that's happened this week, what is your favorite part about homecoming?
My favorite part is just getting the kids excited and seeing the excitement on their faces, and they're fired up. And this is something that they're going to remember for the rest of their life. And so it's just creating those memories, giving them the opportunity to work with students that maybe they don't normally work with, maybe on a homecoming float or be in the parade and see their friend. So just creating those fun memories.
Well, Brian, I know you have to get to MC the homecoming court right now, so I'm going to let you go get to that. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, the man that runs sports around here, the reigning CIF AD of the year. I got to give you a little kudos on that. How has it been this fall going on at Franklin? What's going on other than football?
Well, we're excited about what we have going on campus. We have a bunch of new coaches that have brought a lot of energy to our program, and the great part is they're on campus. So we've got Kay Parsons took over our golf program. She's been a former basketball coach, and we've got two new water polo coaches, Angie Nelson and Jeremy Stafford, are both work on our campus, and so that's been great for us. And we've got a new volleyball coach, Kristen Williams, who's brought in a bunch of energy, and the girls are playing well. So we're excited about that new rush and looking forward to seeing how they do as it gets closer to postseason. So.
Now, I know you guys have so many coaches that are new here, and there's new familiar faces. What is the message that you send to your coaches to just help them get through that Franklin way, or that Franklin pride, should we say?
We're fortunate, like Brian said, it's a community school, and we've got great kids, and I think we have a lot of coaches that work well together, and I just think it's something that you just kind of get up to speed pretty quickly, and we have a way about doing things, and we try to get everybody up to speed doing that. And we've been fortunate that we've been able to bring in new coaches in the winter as well that are on-campus people, and so when they are new and they're already connected as a teacher on our campus, it makes that transition a lot easier.
Awesome. Now, I'm a basketball girl, so how is winter coming along, and how is it looking for the numbers in basketball this year?
We're excited about both our boys team and our girls team. Both have a ton of returners coming back. We've got Coach Manfredi and Coach Formaker, who I think are two of the best in the section, without a doubt, and to have them both be on-campus teachers, on-campus coaches with a ton of experience. I'm looking forward to a great winter with not only our basketball teams, but our soccer teams are going to be good this year, and our wrestling team had a great year last year, and we're expecting them to build off of last year as well. So winter is going to be a big, exciting season for us, and of course, that leads to springtime when it's baseball season for me and Brian. So.
Well, it seems like you guys are having so much fun here at Franklin. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with us and having us.
Well, thank you guys for coming. We appreciate you guys are here every year. Will and Coach Samino do a great job. We appreciate all the sideline crew. You guys are awesome. We're looking forward to having you here next year, and we'd love to have you at a basketball game as well. So.
Can't wait for basketball season. Will.
Thanks, Goody. Nice interview, and boy, was I impressed with that statement. Brian Kilby had about 6,000 people attending their homecoming parade. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, a very special guest, quite familiar to Franklin High football fans. We'll be right back.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Welcome back. We're at Cosumnes Oaks High School this evening for Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week. And it's homecoming night for Franklin High, but they trail the Jesuit Marauders on the scoreboard 20-7. But we can easily remember in the not too distant past the outstanding ball clubs we saw when we came over here to cover Franklin. And Mike Johnson was at the helm in those days, and there is an indication of what he compiled starting in 2004 as a new school and the inaugural coach and founding coach. Overall marked 30 games above 500. He had some dynamite seasons, a pair of league championships, slugged it out with the Toughies in the D1 playoffs, and perhaps one of his most proud accomplishments was prior to arriving at Franklin, capturing a section championship that we covered long ago, 2010, with an upset victory over heavily favored Elk Grove. Mike Johnson with us tonight, and Lauren Goodman has him standing by. Goody?
Well, I'm here with my good friend Mike Johnson, who also works with us sometimes when he's free for Hometown Sports. And now, Coach, talk to me about being the inaugural coach here and laying the foundation pretty much for Franklin.
Well, it was always a dream of mine. I'm a third-generation PE teacher, football coach, and both my grandfather and my father started new schools. So it was always a dream of mine to have that opportunity. And in 2002, when Franklin opened up, that opportunity arose, and I applied for this job and got it. And we spent a lot of time putting this program together, and I'm pretty proud of what we've done over the last, it's almost 18 years now.
Coach, now you are retired, kind of, sort of, but how is it different from being in the broadcasting booth than being on the sideline on the field?
Oh, I'd much rather be in the broadcasting booth. It's fun with those guys up there, and it's cold down here, which I never realized how cold these football games get when you're not coaching. It's been a fun transition for me. I love football. I miss it a lot. I don't necessarily miss the grind and over the summer and the long days, but I miss the kids and I miss the coaches. So being able to work a little bit with you guys has given me the opportunity to talk with coaches and just talk football in general.
Now, Coach, 13 seasons as a head coach here. You coach basketball here, involved in the academics as well. How much has Franklin become more of your family instead of just a job or a regular gig that you clock in and clock out?
I'm an OG. I'm original. I walked the campus with a hard hat, trying to figure out where the PE offices were going to be. I mean, it was an exciting time. It still is an exciting time. But I love the school. I bleed purple. I think our kids are great. Our teachers are the best around. Our athletics are off the charts. Our dance, our drama, our music department. I mean, we're great at everything. So I can brag about my family. So there's no other place I'd rather be than Franklin High School.
Well, it was great talking to you. Great friend, coaching against him on the sidelines together when I was starting out in the Delta. So great talking to you, Mike. Thanks for giving me a little bit of time. Back to Will.
Thanks, Goody. Yes, Mike Johnson, friend of the Access Sacramento Hometown Sports Game of the Week family, and always great to see him. And certainly his ball clubs provided us with some outstanding opportunities to televise their games, Jim.
Yes, one of the best, without a question. Mike, as he said, he comes from a family of coaches, and he does so much for the school. He loves the school. It's sometimes his first home and not his second home.
Well, as you know, Coach, I always look forward to the weekly rankings to see where you make the placements, and Domino's Dozen is a standard measuring stick for anyone in the area who's going to put out some rankings.
Well, Folsom keeps on rolling despite a threat field goal game, beating Oak Ridge up there in Oak Ridge, and that's why they both remain 1-2, because until somebody proves otherwise, I feel they're the best two teams in the area. Inter come pressing hard, coming off a bye. Very strong ball club by Terry. Monterey Trail with only one loss. Rockland, Del Oro, and we'll get back to you.
We'll complete the dozen in a moment. Let's bounce it back down to Lauren Goodman. Goody?
Coach Blanton, you jumped out big, first Delta game. How are you feeling about your team right now?
We're doing some good things. Franklin's running the ball very well, so we got to shore up things in the middle to make sure we can contain their run game. We kind of sputtered there the last 2 minutes of the game offensively. I would have liked to got a field goal or something out of that last 2 minutes.
Coach, talk to me about your talk with your team, and what do you want to see out of them coming out in the second half?
Let's play better defense. Give our offense the ball a little bit more.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you for your time. Will.
Thanks, Goody. Well, short statement, but I understand where he's coming from, and I can imagine he would have liked to have a field goal there.
Well, that's why they use those timeouts, Will.
Well, let's go back to the rankings and the red zone.
Well, in that red zone and pushing Cosumnes Oaks and Oakmont have an undefeated season. Cosumnes Oaks with a huge game versus Pleasant Grove tonight, and that's the winner of that game is going to be in the lead in that Delta. Bear River, Terry Logue, always. Granite Bay, another strong SFL team. Placer with Joey Montoya coming back strong. Vista del Lago with a big game versus Del Campo tonight, and that should be a barn burner. Roseville with Joe Catalico at the helm, having a good year. And finally breaking in the top 20, Del Campo 3-1 coming into tonight.
How about that? Well, there's 5 other teams trying to break into the red zone.
Yes, they are. Rosemont, like I said, we've watched them, and they're getting into the heart of their schedule now. Very impressive win. We were there last week when they handled Kennedy, and a great job by Rick Wanlin. Lincoln is right there. Grant having a down year, but it's not over for Joe. Don't count really Mike, I should say, Mike Albergini. He's always right there. It's strange seeing Grant, Jesuit, and Franklin in 23, 24, 25. Normally you see them a lot higher than that.
I couldn't agree more. Those are perennial top 10, top 12 teams, but everybody has peaks and valleys. Well, we've talked a lot about the Delta League and the balance of power, and this year being wide open, up for grabs. Let's take a look at the Delta League standings, where they sit now. Though we're early in league play, every single game meaningful now.
Well, there it is, Cosumnes Oaks with that 2-0 lead, but the top two are locking heads as we speak. Big game tonight versus Pleasant Grove. Elk Grove pushing hard with a huge win over Davis last week. And, of course, Jesuit you're looking at tonight. They have a lot of weapons, and particularly getting Susak back. Franklin has got to come up with a couple of TDs in the second half. And then Sheldon, tough league. It's up for grabs now. As you look at it, it has 2 parts to it, but I think everybody's in the race. You can't afford to get maybe 2 losses in this league, and with the head-to-head competition, there's going to be a lot of teams knocking off one another, Will.
Boy, it's going to be vicious all season as far as league play is concerned, and several teams there that have a shot. Stay with us. We're going to come back after this short break and continue our halftime activities here on homecoming night for Franklin High School.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting.
The intermission here at Cosumnes Oaks High School wrapping up as we're just about ready to go to second half action here between Franklin and Jesuit. But before that, let's check in with Lauren Goodman. I think she may have some updates from around the area. Goody?
Yeah, Will. Yeah, Jim. Right now we have starting the third, Del Oro 14, Whitney 7. And now we have some Delta news. We have Elk Grove up 41-0 over Sheldon. And we also have over at Sheldon, Pleasant Grove Stadium right now, Cosumnes Oaks up 21-0 over Pleasant Grove.
My. Thank you, Goody. How about that? Well, it's not over, but what a statement being made by Coach Betancourt and the Wolfpack, really putting it on an outstanding Pleasant Grove team. But how about that shutout job over Sheldon? That is rather lopsided.
That is only the halftime, I'm assuming. But even for a halftime score, to tell me that Pleasant Grove hasn't scored a point with the weapons they have and a quarterback like Valenzuela amazes me. And Cosumnes, 21, wow. That's a big deficit to overcome for Pleasant Grove. But don't count Valenzuela and company out.
No, we can't
Valencia.
count them out. Valencia is a crafty quarterback, and they've got a team built around him. But not knowing how that score evolved, that would be one to check out certainly. And the Sheldon game, Elk Grove, 41-0 over the Huskies, has got to be a rude awakening for Coach Filan and their staff.
Well, definitely, because, you know, this is his first year, and Joe Catalico was going to take a break, but he decided to take that Roseville job. And quite frankly, Sheldon, that normally is up there at first, second, third every year, is having a rough go here. And certainly Elk Grove's right in the hunt. Elk Grove is tough to play against. They're a great option football team, and with Coach Heffernan at the helm, they certainly are a threat. And right now, the front runners, Cosumnes Oaks and Pleasant Grove and Elk Grove, and here tonight, Jesuit's impressive as well.
Most assuredly. When we gave the overview of the Delta League, we recognized that it's wide open. Anybody can knock off anybody, and nothing should be assumed or overlooked for that matter, and teams are finding that out early here in Delta League play.
They certainly are. And again, in the ensuing weeks, Will, we're going to see a lot of teams lock up, and quite frankly, it's not going to be any easy for any football team to go unbeaten in this league.
Well, I can't wait. Week after week, it's going to be ruthless. We're ready for the second half kickoff and third quarter action here at Cosumnes Oaks High School. In case you've just dialed into us, you're tuned to Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week with Jim Domino and Lauren Goodman. I'm Will James, and we had a first half controlled by Jesuit. The Marauders on top 20-7 after taking a 2-touchdown, 13-0 lead to take control. But Franklin will receive the second half kickoff, and given the score and situation, this is an ideal time for junior quarterback Denzen Cortez to crank up that Wildcat offense. Bobbled, back to get it inside the 5, and a fumble recovered by Jesuit and returned to about the 11-yard line. Tough luck for the Wildcats. The ball was not tucked away safely.
Well, he never had control. of that football, Will, from the time he picked it up on the bounce. You got to protect that football, and now they're giving Jesuit a golden opportunity to get a quick score here when really you had hoped that certainly Franklin would respond and take that first drive down and have a confidence builder and be only 6 away from this outcome.
Well, this is quite a gift. Susak looks left, throws, touchdown Marauders on one play as he went to one of his big men on the catch there, taken in by Schultz. And right away, the Marauders capitalize on the turnover.
How quick do they strike? And here tonight, Susak has 3 touchdown passes, equaling what he did last week against Rio Americana. Certainly his first 2 ball games back at the helm of this Jesuit football team with 6 TD passes.
On for the PAT, Ryan Young, who's missed one tonight. Otherwise, he's been very steady. Low snap. And got it at 11:43. First moments of the third quarter. Jesuit back on the board, leading it now 27-7. And tough luck for the Wildcats. We'll be right back for more of the Hometown Sports Game of the Week.
What?
The Marauders were almost ready to kick off, and the flag flies from the head linesman. Don't know why. Now we'll have our game referee, Tim Eastwood, running half the distance of the field to confer with his other officials.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against a Franklin coach.
Oh my goodness. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Franklin head coach Evan Boylan. And if he wasn't a little touchy already, I'm sure he's steaming right now.
Well, I'm sure. As they're marching off 15, and now, of course, he'll put the ball in the end zone. He's not going to fool around. He's going to get that touchback. He's very capable.
Well, we don't see that very often. So it had to be some harsh lip service that was over the line, so to speak, to draw that flag.
Yeah, we're not privy to hear it. Maybe we don't want to hear it. So let's see what happens here. I'm sure that Young has got to put the ball through the goalpost if he wants to. I don't think he's going to let up.
We shall see. So he's going to kick from the Franklin 45 after the 15-yard bonus on the penalty, and this one's well back out of the end zone, and a field goal from the 45-yard line. So Franklin takes over, average field position from their 20, now trailing by 20.
Not the way to start, Will, when we've only used 17 seconds of the second half.
Well, we talked about the MPT. I think we've seen some mistakes. We saw a penalty on the coach just now, and that followed a turnover.
And yes, we had it all right there. That things we don't want to see, but we have to tell you that that's the way the football can turn real quick like with that MPT.
Well, let's see how much mental toughness the Wildcats have on their homecoming night. Up to the line, 1st and 10, Cortez at quarterback. Turn and give. Short yardage. And we heard Coach Blanton speak of shoring up his defensive line.
He did. He thought that they could have played harder in that latter part of the second quarter. And I know he wanted the ball back to see if he can get another score on. Now here's where a young quarterback like Cortez is wanting to throw the football. And I'm sure he's waiting for the green light from his coach to throw the football and not give him just one down to do it.
Let's see. He wants to pass, throws out to the right side, and has a short hookup, and it's turned upfield and down the sideline for a first down on a nice effort there by Kekoa Cash.
Well, I like those quick passes. He got the ball out under 2 seconds, Will, and I like to see young Denson Cortez get more opportunities.
The carry is out to the 34, a gain of 13 on the pass and run. Move the stakes. First down, Wildcats, as they dispatch twin wides to the far side. Backs are stacked in an I. Short drop, look left, flushed. He gets away, chased hard, and scampers out of bounds, possibly for a short loss.
Well, it beats turning over the football and loss of possession, Will. That's all I can say.
And it beats a sack.
Yes. Beats all of the above.
So they park it at the 32. Let's take another look.
Watch him scamper, and there's nowhere for him to go and get out of bounds. Stop the clock, give him another opportunity.
So he loses 2 on the play, 2nd and 12 from the 32. Passing down, he looks left and fires. He's got a short one completed and dropped shy of the 40. Charles with the catch and run. Short gain. They get back some of the loss and gain a couple, so we'll call it a play that covers about 5 yards. 3rd and about 7, so moment of decision coming up for young Denzen Cortez as they work now from the 37.
Well, if he can break the perimeter, he throws better outside the pocket, Will, than inside the pocket. So let's see if they give him a chance to roll to the wide side of the field here.
Play fake again. Good protection, and he guns one complete, and that's a first down. That was his best throw of the night, I believe. And continuing the play was Kekoa Cash. Moved the chains. Well done.
Well, I like that. As mentioned, Will, I believe it was his timing was excellent. He hit Cash on the money and picked up a nice first down.
17 yards to the Jesuit 46. Clock rolling here early in the 3rd with 9:50 to go, but Franklin has a long way to come back. They're trailing 27-20. Haven't seen this formation yet. Turn and give. A nice burst. They pick up about 5 on the play to Charles. And a nice start on this series.
Well, it was. Nice give, just a straight dive. Pretty good get off by the right side. Keinrith and Tulani got off the football. They're mixing it up. I like this. See that simple dive, a nice hole.
Tackling effort that time by Betancourt, and Santos out to the left side, incomplete. The throw wide.
Well, once again, he used a 3-step drop, what they call a quick passing game, but he didn't look on balance. And as mentioned, I like to see him get outside the pocket because he seems to throw better when he's rolling or bootlegging.
He was under some heavy heat from Zach Bagley.
Bagley, the lone returner from that front 4 of Jesuit.
3rd and 5. Very key down here. Long count that time. They toss and come to the near side where the defense is stacked.
Now it's 4th down. They're going to have to go for it. I don't know if I like that play call right there. He runs to the near side, no room at all, and with 4th and 4th and about 3. They don't want to give the ball back to Jesuit. They're going to have to go for it, Will.
They will. Before that ball was even snapped, Jesuit's defense was overloaded way to the left side, right where the play went.
Yeah, well, apparently they've done a good job scouting, and Franklin has become some predictable. They got one-on-one on the far side if he wants to go that way.
4th and 3, play fake. Cortez running, throws on the run. He's got a hook up to Charles, who cuts inside and makes plenty more yardage. First down, Wildcats inside the Marauder 15. Nice improvising by Cortez, who kept cool on the play despite being under heavy heat.
Watch this. This is outstanding by this young junior Cortez. Maintains his composure, gets rid of it, and Charles with a great effort. Look at that. Picks up 10 after the catch. To me, you got Fonbuena and you got Charles. If you get the ball in their hands out of the backfield, they're dangerous.
No doubt. That was weak tackling effort there by the Marauders. Turn and give.
Oh, Jesuit was waiting for that one.
They started from the 20 on that play, maybe got a yard or so. And again, Betancourt making his presence known from that linebacking position in on the stop. Gain of a yard, 2nd and 9. As the clock rolls with 7:20 to go here, still early in the 3rd. From the 19-yard line, 2nd and 9. Tight formation, a single wide out to the left. Play fake. Cortez rolls, throws, incomplete. Intended for Charles, who got one hand on it. Cortez could also have run the football there, but the play call was the pass. He's back to the sideline now to check in with Coach Boylan. Now 3rd and 9.
Well, this is 4-down territory. So he's got 2 downs to move the chain, so he doesn't have to get it all in once, you know? Sometimes you break it down. You got 9 yards to go. Let's get two 5 or 6 yarders and move the chains.
This close now in the red zone, that Jesuit secondary is going to be tested. He wants to throw, steps up and guns one. He's got a completion inside the 10, and it's carried inside the 5 on an excellent hookup right there. Again, going to Kekoa Cash. 1st and goal from the 3.
Cash runs a great curl route. He runs that comeback and curl so nice. Good move. Cortez has got him wide open sitting in here.
Is that zone coverage there?
Yeah, that's a big
nobody
hole.
really stuck with him.
No, there's a big hole.
Okay, from the 3. Out wide to the left, Malik Johnson. They run it with Fonbuena to the goal line. Touchdown, Wildcats. Well done, Reagan Fonbuena from 3 yards out. His 2nd touchdown. He owns both of them tonight for Franklin.
Well, I like his effort. He keeps the feet driving. Excellent. That was a great drive and some clutch playing by young quarterback Cortez.
Trzynski with the PAT, got it despite the heavy rush at 6:25 of the 3rd, nearing midway. Franklin back on the board, now trailing 27-14. Stay with us.
What?
Wildcats set to kick off after having scored their second TD of this ball game and tightening things up now, pulling within striking distance, you could say, down 27-14, midway third. And Denzen Cortez should take a bow for engineering an 80-yard, 13-play scoring drive. High but short on the kickoff, taken near the 20. And that's about all. Short return on that. So that's where the Marauders will open shop here in the middle of the third quarter, after having a gift of a touchdown. The fumble deep in Franklin territory set up a one-play scoring drive on another Susac TD pass. So 1st and 10, the Marauders just outside their 25. On the ground, nice little cut and jab and a carry across the 30 to the 31. Saka.
Jalen Harris, your new homecoming king.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 from the Jesuit 31-yard line. Clock rolling here with 5:55 left here in the third. Out to the near side, Jagger Saka with one-on-one coverage against Jamari Harrison. They run a delay, and it's covered up pretty good after an initial gain. It's going to bring up a third and about 5.
Not much for Santos to go with. Not much room. Big play here for Franklin. Not just a big play for Jesuit. If Franklin can force them to punt the football and get it back, and they've got a little confidence going, this is a big down.
3rd and 4 from the Jesuit 33. Single wides left and right. Split backs. Short drop, look right and fire off the fingertips, and that was a laser shot.
Well,
too hot to handle. That was right on target, certainly beyond catchable, but incomplete on the attempt there by Nate Lewis.
Nate Lewis, the big 6'4" receiver, young junior, outstanding. And now Jesuit forced to punt here right now and give up the football. You ought to be able to have a good win if he gets it up top, Will.
Well, if they do punt, that's an important stop for Franklin. They do. High but short. Good hang time. And a lazy Jesuit roll that's going to get them another 10, another 12 or 13, maybe 15 out of that mess.
Well, you got to feel that. You got to field it in. Yep. Cameron Randall would like to have that ball back because he gave up an additional 12, 15 yards. And he got a lot from that punt, believe me.
Cortez and the Franklin offense back onto the field after a fine defensive effort to force the punt. And the Wildcats will open up with below average field position, having let the punt roll.
Well, he's given Cortez some opportunities to throw the ball in clutch situations, and Cortez came through nicely in that drive.
From the 16-yard line. Motion shown by Baylor. Fonbuena has been the workhorse. Boy, what nerve. Give him 4 yards on a tough carry there, 2nd and 6.
Fonbuena having a big night, picking up yardage all along the way. He and Charles, particularly Fonbuena, has been the workhorse tonight.
Closer to a 5-yard pickup. We'll call it 2nd and a long 5 from the 21. Cortez to the near side, fires on the run and has another hookup. Charles with the grab, and he motors nearly to the 30, close to a first down. I believe he may have it. He does indeed. 1st and 10.
Once again, notice Cortez out of the pocket. Throws very nicely. Watch him flush the pocket here. Good mobility. Cortez rolling, hitting his back.
Well, as you say, Coach, they're taking what Jesuit is giving.
Very definitely.
1st and 10 from the 29. Predictable handoff, and they make the 31. Fonbuena again.
Yeah, Fonbuena very definitely in 52 with that tackle all over him. Soren Peterson playing that down front made a nice tackle for Jesuit as you see them lined up here.
And they've got Hemmert in there too, number 62, adding some extra beef. 2nd and 8. Short throw, left side, complete. Running after the catch and making the 35. They're going to be shy of a first. It'll bring up like a 3rd and 5 on a short pickup. Well, we see Harrison coming off the field slowly.
Well, 18 Baylor is a good receiver, and he runs tough in the backfield as well, Will. Let's see if they get him involved in this big 3rd down play with Baylor.
3rd and 4. Football at the 35-yard line. Play fake and roll on the run. He's got a man open. 1st down, Wildcats on the catch by Baylor, as you say, out of the backfield.
Definitely. I like that call. I like that substitution.
They make the Franklin 49. Evan Boylan's play calling is looking good, and Cortez's execution equal.
Very definitely. He's getting his feet wet, more than wet, and next week he'll come out with a lot more confidence.
Up the gut, nothing there. A shove back on that stuff by Jesuit's D line. Maybe a yard on the play, but closer to no gain.
You notice they go to that dive in 1st and 10. They've gone it for the last 3 series, and they got to, if they expect to only gain a yard or less, that's all well and fine, but they've got to change up on that play.
Change up at least enough to not be predictable. In the 1st half, Fonbuena burned him a couple of times.
Yes.
So that has tightened up. Coach Blanton spoke of that at halftime. Short drop, look left, fire right. It's Johnson with his first catch and his first targeting, but it's going to be a virtual no gain. Bringing up 3rd and long. And they lose a yard on the play. 3rd and 11 from the 48. Okay. To the bag of tricks.
Well, I think you got to roll him wide and give him an opportunity to run and not just limit him to the short side here, Will.
They send Johnson from the right side to the left. He lines up quickly. Ready out to cover. Motion from Baylor. Here's a toss to the near side. Tough way to go. They give up a yard on the play. 4th and 10 now. And something tells me from your body language there, Coach, you may have had something else in mind.
Matter of fact, I did. I didn't like the short side sweep, quite frankly. If that's, 11 yards to go, 3rd and 11. But let's see what Cortez can do here. With 4th and a long 11, he's got to make a big play.
Okay, time is taken.
Well, Jesuit wanted to get the right subs on the field, Will, for the situation, and they didn't get enough time. Smart move.
The timeout comes with just 39 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter on homecoming night here for the Franklin Wildcats under more fall-like football conditions than we've seen yet with the lower temperatures. And despite the scoreboard showing what it does tonight, Coach Domino, lots of ethical sentiment here and an ideal that's hard to beat.
Well, there you spell pride vertically, and when you put those letters out there for pride, respect, integrity, determination, and of course, empathy, those are 5 characteristics of this fine high school out here in Elk Grove. And a lot of school spirit, a lot of parent support, and a very strong faculty and administration that certainly loves working with one another. At least that appears to us, and it shows out here tonight.
Yes, it does. So here we go. 4th down, all or nothing. Cortez to throw, play fake deep up the right side for Johnson, and it's intercepted at the 20-yard line on a theft there. Beautifully done by Roman Kanan. Right sideline, who can catch him? Shoved out finally inside the Franklin 30 on a 50-yard return.
Well, Kanan dropping back from his outside linebacker position into the coverage, Will. Comes up big. The young junior, his brother, was a 3-year starter on that football team, and I want to say he's playing at San Jose State. I know the dad, Jeremy Kanan, real well, and his grandpa, the great orthopedic surgeon, comes from a great family of athletes and fine people.
Excellent individual play on that pass up the field. Susak looks left all the way, fires to a wide open receiver, sidesteps a man to the 5, to the touchdown. Marauders on one play. And again, the pass defense for the Wildcats substandard.
Well, huge, wide open. Jacob Hall having a big year. Jacob Hall, outstanding two-way player, wide open. And of course, Susak just thread the needle. Really, no rush and no coverage.
4 touchdown passes to 4 receivers that were all the way wide open. So on for the PAT, Ryan Young, he's been busy from there this evening. Spotted, booted, on the way, plenty of distance, and got it. At 22 seconds, here's another look as we go to break. Susak TD number 4 through the air. Hall with the grab. We'll be right back.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
Welcome back to Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week with Jim Domino and Lauren Goodman. I'm Will James as the Jesuit Marauders set to kick off following their 5th touchdown. And Susak has picked up right where he left off a week ago with his 3 TD passes against Rio Americano. High and carrying, bounding inside the 5, picked up on a bounce, but good coverage downfield, and the return is contained at the 12-yard line. So poor field position on that kickoff return.
Well, just with great coverage downfield with 34 Saka down there, real quick like making a play. Ace Saka, that is, number 34. Let's see if Franklin can respond here.
from the 12 on first down. An uncovered receiver now finally picked up in the secondary. Cortez comes to the near side, throws on the run. Tackled from behind for no gain. Charles unable to get away. Nice solo tackle there, Jim.
Logan Carter with good coverage is a pretty quick down lineman.
One of their top players, and he earned his keep on that one. No gain, 2nd and 10. End of the third. We've played 3. Jesuit in charge, 34-14. We'll be right back.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
These are cool. Did you, what did
We open fourth quarter play here from Cosumnes Oaks High School on a brisk, gusting evening here in Elk Grove on Franklin's homecoming night. And unfortunately for Wildcat fans, they trail it here 34-14 to Jesuit High School. Trying to make a game of it. On first down, they run the football as anticipated. A gain to the 15. We'll call it third down upcoming from the 15-yard line. Third and about 9. So Cortez back to the huddle after a brief sideline chat. Here's the play, and they're going to need 9 yards to sustain, 9 or better, here in the opening minute of the fourth quarter. Nothing doing on the run play. That was stacked. Fourth down now upcoming, and my oh my, where are they going to punt from?
Well, they're going to end up punting from close to the end zone.
Well, I know there's action going on elsewhere around the region in the Delta League and Sierra Foothill League, and I bet you our gal Goody can give us an update in a little bit. Meantime, the danger zone for this Franklin punt play.
Very danger zone. Now if they can get it off, they got the win.
Good snap. Nope. Wobbly line drive bounding at the 35, and it's going to be. They let it roll. I don't know why. So, terrific field position for the Marauders.
Well, you would think right now they could expect a possible bomb and be ready to cover. I mean, Susak could go, even though he's throwing against the wind, you know, he's done it before tonight.
Well, so far on all of his touchdown passes, all of the receivers were wide open.
Wide open.
Here we go. From the 42-yard line, backs are split. They hand off, and gee whiz, that was a loose football, looked like.
Well, he just run a plain dive.
Ace with the carry. No gain, maybe a foot. We'll call it 2nd and 10.
Welsh right there on the stop. 2nd and 10. Watch the play action here.
Wideouts to the left, split backs. They run it and shove back. Boy, what a stand that time.
Yes, very definitely. And I'll tell you, they were ready. They handed off the football to Mauricio Sarin, and they were waiting for him.
Welch was right on that again.
Yes, impressive, very impressive.
They lose on the play.
Michael Welch.
3rd down.
52, 6'1", 212 senior. Defensive guard or nose.
Conservative play calling on the first 2 downs?
Very definitely. Very definitely.
Well, they want that clock to roll, but they are sitting on a 20-point lead. Okay, now he wants to throw. Pump fake left. And he has to scramble away from the rush. Incomplete. 4th down now, and gee whiz.
I'm a little surprised they took a very conservative stance there. Thought maybe they could run the ball and use the clock and maybe move this game along and not come out of here with any injury. That's very surprising. That's the first time I think he was touched tonight on that play.
Well, what I do know is they had a real bonus in getting that field position and were unable to do anything with it. Here's the punt. Straight up in the air, very short, very high, and a backward bounce to help Franklin. It's downed by a hustling Marauder at about the 44-yard line.
Well, that's where you want to just kick the line drive, and quite frankly, the way they're marking it, he gained about a half yard on the punt. And that's mind-boggling, kind of. You're punting against the wind, and quite frankly, Jesuit just decided in that series maybe just to take a break. I don't know, but if they can, maybe they certainly didn't go for an insurance touchdown.
No, they did not, Imperator. So Franklin, as a result of that, has terrific field position from their 43. 1st and 10. Cortez has a hook up out to the near side. Approximately a 6-yard gain. Nicely done there. And Cortez with the grab. And they gain 5 on the play.
Well, again, for starting his first game, I'm impressed with Cortez pressed into action in a game like this, and shows me a lot, and I think he has a future there.
2nd and 5. Cortez looking left, scrambles away, throws on the run, incomplete.
Well, we got a late flag. I mean, really late flag, and it's thrown here by the field judge from afar.
Well, this will be an interesting call.
He might have a tripping.
Well, let's hear that booming voice of Tim Eastwood.
On the defense, that's a 10-yard penalty. It's from the previous spot, so right here.
So Franklin gets a break. Pass interference. And the walk-off is going to place the football into Marauder territory at the Jesuit 42. 1st down. They run the football, and Fonbuena gets inside the 40 to about the 37 or so. Let's see where his progress is stopped. And a nice little bite on 1st down. They give him about 4 on the play. Clock rolling here. 7:45 to go here in the 4th.
Just a simple handoff to Fonbuena. Like you said, Willie, fighting his way vertically up the field for 5 here. But, you know, if they want to get into this game, they're going to have to try to score here.
Well, homecoming night, and the band is rocking, but Franklin needs to get back on the board. Cortez fires right, has a hook up to Charles, who's brought down immediately near the 35 or 34. It's going to bring up short yardage needed for a 1st down. 4th, and let's see where they park it. He needs about 2, it looks like.
Well, it's only, they've got 2 downs to make
or
it.
Or 3rd and 2, I should say. Here's another look.
Let's see what Cortez can do here. He's got 2 downs to make 2 yards.
Okay, snap and go. The play stacked. Phone pointed, tries to bounce it outside, but too many defenders there, and he's shoved back.
Wow.
He might have lost a yard on the play.
Let's see what the breakdown is.
4th and short. So Johnson into the ball game. They've targeted him twice. Once was a short completion that was actually a 1 or 2 yard loss, and then they went deep down the field to him, and he had a step on the defense. The ball was underthrown, though, and Kanan had the interception.
Yeah, well, that's surprising in a way. He's come into this game with 4 catches and 90 yards. That's quite a bit.
And 3 touchdowns.
Well, coach is going to call a timeout because Cortez is not sure, and coach wants to be sure. Coach Boylan wants him over to the sideline, and I understand that. You can't have this quarterback making a mistake, calling a wrong play. He saw the defense, and he decided to change the play.
Well, certainly Coach Boylan is also looking ahead to the remainder of the slate and the further development of Cortez. So though they may drop this game, and they're in jeopardy of doing so, I think the bigger picture shows that this is an ongoing work in progress and a learning on-the-job training type of situation. So why not call a timeout and make sure everybody's clear?
Very definite, Will. I see that, and Coach Boylan is working with him right now, grooming Cortez.
Well, next week we got a change of pace for you because we're headed indoors, our annual coverage on the hardwood of girls volleyball. And you're going to be impressed when you see this matchup as the Cosumnes Oaks Wolfpack travels to Sheldon to take on the Lady Huskies, and that's a Tuesday, October 1. And that match slated to start at 6 p.m. So do yourselves a favor. There it is. Girls volleyball. Back to football here. Midway 4th. Franklin trying to pick up a first. Play fake. Cortez fires deep. The play well covered. Incomplete. Double coverage on Johnson. They tried to go for him again.
Well, what gets me, of course, they had double coverage, and they had 1.5 yards to go for the first down there, and they had a man open in the flat.
Like I said, work in progress. I would say that repetition is one of the best friends of a developing quarterback, and a succession of plays and seasons, gains a little more cool-headedness. 1st and 10 Marauders. They take over on downs. Working inside their 35. Run play is shut down after a couple.
Well, there's a little extracurricular activity going on after the tackle, and I see Jesuit now with 5 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock, where they just want to maybe make a couple of first downs and get out of here. We're going to find out.
Well, big Frankie Norris in on the stop there. 1 yard gain. Nice cover up. 2nd and 9. And it's clear with the run game here going and the scoreboard stacked that Coach Blanton is effectively going to use the clock.
Well, I'm sure as Susak went over to the sideline, he'd like to throw his 5th touchdown pass, but I don't know if he's going to even get an attempt.
Up to the line on 3rd down. They need about 6 to sustain. Susak to throw, fires right, low and incomplete. Intended there for Nate Lewis.
Well, Nate Lewis is a big target. I'm not certain of his route running, but, and then again, that Susak pass was short of its mark. The ball just died. He's throwing against the wind.
So the incompletion brings up a 4th down.
Well, unless they try to draw offsides or shift to a punt, they're going for it.
4:35, and a whistle is going to halt this play. Timeout taken by Franklin as they want to talk things over here coming down the stretch.
Well, there's the Franklin defensive staff here wanting to prevent that pass. They've been, as you mentioned, Will, every receiver has been wide open tonight.
Wide open. Well, let's check in with our pal Lauren Goodman and see what's going on around the area. What you got, Goody?
Well, Will, going into the half right now is what they're saying. Cosumnes Oaks has the lead over Pleasant Grove, 28-3. Also, Elk Grove is still remaining in the lead, 48-0. An interesting swing has happened up there in Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge 22, Rockland 28. They had a big 15-point third quarter, and they're just going away in the 4th.
Thank you. Well, the ever dangerous Sierra Foothill and ever dangerous Delta, it's going to be rock and roll every week. Flag is going to stop this play before Susac can throw the football. So, wow, what a skirmish going on with Rockland.
Ball start. It's the offense.
And Oak Ridge.
Well, it certainly is. And Rockland, as we said, they are very good. And they're right in the league with Oak Ridge. And I'll tell you what, that's a great matchup. Now they're going to punt, Will. They're going to get it out of here after those penalties.
Well, I'm surprised that, okay, that one's on target. High and short. Takes a Marauder roll, and they get an extra 5 or 6 out of it, and it's going to be downed at the Franklin 38. No, we heard that other score. Pleasant Grove has been throttled this evening with just a 3 spot.
Well, I guess anything can happen, but this Cosumnes club is surprising a lot of people, and quite frankly, when you lead a good football team like Pleasant Grove, like 28-3, and you think about the excellence of a quarterback Valencia, and to even consider holding them to 3 for a half or 3 quarters, it's hard to imagine that, because we've seen quite a gifted quarterback and a good all-around football team.
On first down, they run the football and get a couple on the play, unless we don't know how that game is evolving. There could be some scenarios that would further explain that type of a gap.
Yes,
but also, Coach Heffernan over at Elk Grove, his Thundering Herd is thundering right now, 48-0 over Sheldon.
Yeah, they showed they went into Davis and handled Davis quite handily. They've got a good option football team, and a lot of teams don't defend that option nowadays. So, as we say, certainly we thought that Sheldon would show more offense this year, but they haven't. They have a young quarterback who I'm sure is going to come into his own, and under excellent coaching over there, but they just right now, it seems like right now Franklin and Sheldon are going to have some tough games ahead of them with that schedule ahead of them, having to face teams like Pleasant Grove and Cosumnes and Jesuit, etc. Certainly Jesuit shows that they're right in the race here tonight as well.
Well, Susac has made a huge difference. Okay, Cortez under heavy heat, and he's hit for a sack, loses the football.
I thought his motion was going forward. I want to see what the officials call here. It appears to me that his ball movement was forward, and it would be an incomplete pass, but we're going to see what they're going to call.
Cortez shaken up on that, came off with a limp.
They did rule it an incomplete. All right.
Arm moving forward. So no sack, no loss as the clock stops with 2:50 remaining here in the fourth.
Well, they got to go for it, obviously. Behind 3 touchdowns, 20 points. And Young, each snap now is something new for Young, Cortez, and Denson certainly is going to mature and get better with each ball game. I can tell you that. I'm impressed with his work ethic.
Fourth down, all or nothing. He scrambles away, but he's dropped shy of a first down by a couple of yards, and the ball goes over.
Well, in lieu of how conservative Jesuit has gotten, perhaps that we're going to see some knee time here maybe shortly.
Oh, I'd be shocked if we didn't. 2:44 left. How many plays would it take to chew up 2:44?
Well, at least 3 and perhaps 4.
I see that Franklin has their timeouts remaining, all of them. So
well,
unless we see a stoppage on all these downs.
Well, yeah, if they stop the clock, they can get the ball back.
I want to remind you that at the conclusion of the game, you won't want to wander off because Lauren Goodman will be interviewing our players of the game. Short yardage run play, bottled up after a 1-yard run. And no timeout yet. Well, the Marauder offense has shown some effective balance this evening with Ace Saka running well and Susak lighting up the scoreboard through the air.
Yeah, I think this Jesuit team is just starting to find themselves. This is a young football team with very few veterans. And a game like last week over Rio and a win tonight is going to put these young people and certainly in a confidence mode, and then getting their leader Susak back is a real shot in the arm.
Unquestionably, night and day. A team that had struggled for 3 straight games to put points on the board got shut out once. That's all been flipped dramatically now. Short drop, look left and fire. Dropped. Wow. Wide open and through the hands. Tough luck there for Peluso and Susak and the Marauders. Nice laser shot there.
He did. Now Peluso ought to be able to catch those. He's a quarterback. He's the backup quarterback. Yeah, the ball was right there.
Right there.
Right.
So here's a 4th down with 1:29 to go. The clock having stopped because of the drop. Run play up the middle. It's broken. First down and more. Nice cutback run to daylight.
Well, I'm impressed. Yes, I am impressed with number Cash.
Taylor.
Wow. Impressive run.
Nice burst. So move the chains. First down, Jesuit.
Got 2 young backs in there getting their chance to play.
Many subs on defense for Franklin as well. As we close in on a minute, let's see how the play calling is here in a sure victory for Jesuit. And I imagine they'll just go ahead and sit on the rest of it. Susak takes a knee.
Take a knee.
In victory formation. 42 seconds.
Well, the Marauders, after a disappointing 0-3 start to the season, have now put together back-to-back victories. And the offense has been rejuvenated. 45 against Rio, 34 tonight.
And looked like they could score more tonight. I think that Coach Blanton certainly was a good sportsman to Franklin. Didn't try to run up the score.
As the final seconds tick off here at Cosumnes Oaks High School on homecoming night for Franklin, the Wildcats are bested by a final count of 34-14 by the Jesuit Marauders, but sportsmanship prevailing on the field as we see the handshake lines from the respective teams, the opponents there filing past each other. And many questions were indeed answered this evening, Coach, both for Jesuit and for Evan Boylan's Wildcats.
Well, I think so too. I think Jesuit is showing they are a contender. They're getting a little better each game. They're getting their feet up under. They've got some athletes. They've got some players. They had to replace quite a football team from last year with a loaded senior class. And I think that these young juniors on the team and the 5 sophomores on this team play a role. And I think that Jesuit's going to be in the hunt.
Well, I do as well. Stay with us. When we come back from this break, we'll be beginning our post-game sequence and a string of interviews. Stay with us.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Selfie. Nailed it.
Staring contest.
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The verdict is in, and the decision is final this evening in Elk Grove at Cosumnes Oaks High School, where tonight, on homecoming night for Franklin High, the Wildcats were defeated by the Jesuit Marauders, a final score of 34-14 in a ball game that the Marauders controlled from the outset and met a couple of challenges by the Wildcats and were able to comfortably secure their second win.
Well, they certainly did, and as we mentioned, Jesuit took it a little easy in that fourth quarter, used some substitutes. So did Franklin, and I think that one of the things we learned tonight, we knew that they had Franklin had 2 good runners in Charles and Fonbuena, and 2 outstanding players. But then Cortez tonight did some growing up. I saw some maturity on his part, and I know it's a tough position to come in and play right away without experience and put in the front lines, but I think he has some potential.
No question. He did do some growing up. He maybe hasn't come quite to the point where one game's experience would bear such tremendous raves, but he has grown immeasurably. And for a ball player making his first varsity start against a formidable opponent, I think he did an admirable job and really showed that he can become even better.
Well, I think as time marches on, Coach Boylan can open up the offense more as well, accordingly. Okay, I think tonight he was going to keep the range pretty tight, and now we see our most valuable players and our winning coach finding their way over.
Yes, some nice performances tonight, certainly, and enough cannot be stated about the emergence of Daniel Susak at the quarterback position after 3 straight losses to open the season. The Marauders, I'm quite sure, were thrilled with his emergence and his return, and he's delivered, half a dozen touchdowns in the last 2 ball games.
He had, I believe, 2 or 3 coming in and 4 tonight. He's got 7 TDs and 2 ball games, not bad.
Well, even though we gave you a little more than a hint, despite there being a handful of worthy candidates, our players of the game this evening: Jesuit quarterback Daniel Susak, and for the host, Franklin Wildcats, veteran running back Reagan Von Buena. Another admirable performance, and certainly we haven't seen tough runners of his caliber all that often. Tonight, on many of those plays where the defense was ready and his progress was only 1 or 2 yards, it took 3 or 4 people to stop him. Just a tremendous, tough, hard-nosed runner. Okay, well, let's turn our attention down to field level and pick up Lauren Goodman. Goody?
Well, Will, I'm here with the 10 and 10, Reagan and Daniel. First starting for the Franklin Wildcats. Reagan, you came in tonight, you played really hard, ran really hard. Can you talk to me about what your offensive line was giving you and how they were creating gaps?
You know, they were just pushing their guys around, but, you know, they caught on to that pretty fast. So they were getting low on them, and I didn't have really that much space to go to, but I used what I could get, and, yeah.
Now, I got to talk to Coach this week, and he just talked about your overall improvement. How do you feel like you put in the work, or how much work have you put in this offseason to get better for your team?
It started off in the weight room, you know, getting up early in January before school, hitting the weights, and then just followed all the way up until now. I've just been working really hard.
Now, everybody is talking about your leadership and what type of leader you are on the offensive side and the defensive side. What is your conversation like with your team to keep them going in this tough Delta?
You know, I just try to tell them to keep their heads up and just keep on going no matter what, even when it's hard, just to keep on finishing the plays, keep on finishing the game.
Well, you definitely led by example today with the way you ran. Good game, and thank you. Good luck on the rest of the season. Now I'm here with Daniel. Daniel, you came back 2 games in. How was your comfortability tonight?
It was great. You know, great to be back out here. Great to be playing with my teammates. Energy was high tonight, and always great to get a win, especially on the road.
Now, you had 4 separate targets on those 4 TDs. Can you talk to me about your relationship with your receiving core?
Yeah, just love all of them the same. They're all great receivers. Always going to go up and get the ball. Always ready to go get hit. Going to take one for me. I'll take one for them. Just great to get it to 4 different people.
Now, you guys are going to go into the tough Delta. It's going to be competition after competition. Kind of talk to me about some things you want to focus on in helping this team continue this winning streak.
I want to focus on keeping the morale high and energy high, keeping everybody focused in the game. Every game's going to be tough all the way throughout league. We just got to keep battling, win every game.
Well, I hope you stay healthy this season so you guys can get a great chance. And now I'm here with the winning coach. Coach, you guys talked about the adjustments. How do you feel your team responded in that second half?
We did a better job defensively. We contained them a little bit more on the run, and they opened up the pass a little bit better there. So we got to do a better job against the pass game, especially playing Consumers coming up next week. We got to be ready.
Coach, now we know you guys can run the ball, but today you guys just took control of the air game. How do you kind of get the balanced attack and keep your offense flowing and just kind of taking what they give you?
It's pretty much that simple. Take what they give us. I mean, we want to run the ball better. We have to run the ball better. For us, I think the run sets up the pass, but obviously when you have a quarterback like Daniel Susak who can, like you said, throw touchdowns to 4 different receivers, that helps.
Now, Coach, I got to talk to you, too. This is your 8th year, and you're coming into a very tough Delta. It hasn't gotten any easier since you've been there. What is it that you have to say or talk to your team about going into every single week? You got back-to-back games. I think you have Cosumnes Oaks, Pleasant Grove, Elk Grove, back-to-back, all at home, though. What is the focus that you need to bring to your team coming up?
It's simple, man. You got to love to compete. This is what this is about, right? We wouldn't want it any other way. This is Delta League. You got to compete, murder roll. You got to be ready to go. Yeah.
Coach, I know you're under the weather, so I'm going to let you go, but I thank you for spending a little time with us.
All right, thank you.
Will.
Thanks, Goody. Certainly a satisfying win this evening for Coach Blanton. And you could see, though he may be under the weather, the joy in his face when speaking of Daniel Susak and his return to the ball club and what he's brought with them with this aerial circus now. 4 more touchdowns, 7 on the season in his last 2 games, spreading it around beautifully. 4 different receivers tonight.
Well, he certainly does. He does have some quality receivers that run good routes. And as mentioned, were they that open because of the great route running? As we know, other than one that I can recall, he had great protection up front. We talked about the protection for Susak prior to the ball game. And certainly Hemmert, Kayam, Seymour, Stone, and McLaughlin gave him plenty of time to throw. But I like his arm. He did against the wind a couple of times. His ball died on him. But, you know, the wind was tough down here. I'm not making excuses for him. But I think Susak has a bright future whether he goes baseball or football.
Next week promo again?
Well, certainly the wind did require adjustments, but he adjusted beautifully. And the O-line did protect him, but he did not take an abundance of time to release the football. His passes were out of his hand in such a short period of time that maybe there was 1 or 2 plays I can recall where the pass rush really put some heat on him. But other than that, he was very well protected tonight.
Yes, he gets the ball out quickly and wisely, and he does, like I said, have the arm. And I like to also see him. I watched him at practice. I was impressed with no wind and a hot day. And tonight we had some heavy winds, and sometime, whether they're for you or against you, it's a quarterback's dilemma, as you well know. So we know he's got the arm, and I think this is the shot in the arm that this Jesuit football team and coaching staff needed.
Well, they sure got it. A major shot in the arm, and they're going to be tough to reckon with. Aside from the injury to highly regarded defender Kaleki Latu, looks like Jesuit's pretty much playing at full strength. And unfortunately for the Wildcats, Evan Boylan's ball club suffering a major loss with the injury to quarterback Brandon Bautista Rundgren. We wish him well and can recall him from last year and know that that is a major setback for the Wildcats. But they will have better days. Denzen Cortez played admirably tonight. And down the road, I expect him to leave his mark and work with the skill position players that can put points on the board for the Wildcats. So that's the way it wraps up tonight here at Cosumnes Oaks High School on the Hometown Sports Game of the Week. Homecoming night for Franklin, a fizzle in terms of the final score. However, lots of excitement and pleasure tonight for the crowd with the homecoming pageantry. So with that in mind, we do have a change-up for you next week on Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week, because we go indoors, back on the hardwood for girls volleyball as the Cosumnes Oaks Wolfpack travel over to Sheldon to take on the Lady Huskies. A different time and date, though. That comes up fast. Tuesday, October 1st, 6 p.m. for that match to start. So dial into that one. That being said, final score again here tonight. A rather impressive win by Jesuit, 34-14 over host Franklin. So for Jim Domino, Lauren Goodman, and our game director Nick Dunn, I'm Will James. Thank you for joining us for Hometown Sports Game of the Week. We look forward to the next occasion when we can reconnect. So long, everyone.
From Access Sacramento's Hometown Sports Game of the Week is available for purchase on DVD. For more information, call Access Sacramento 916-456-8600, extension 0. This has been a Hometown Sports Game of the Week broadcast from Access Sacramento. Major underwriting support this season for Hometown Sports Game of the Week on Access Sacramento is provided by the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. Access Sacramento also thanks Sharif Jewelers, fine jewelers since 1932. Sharif Jewelers, a longtime sponsor of community television. And Folsom Lake Honda, a proud sponsor of Access Sacramento's Hometown TV and Game of the Week, and a partner in our community, Folsom Lake Honda.